following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
We are back. Lenny Randle's Hot Corner. Got the man here and a wonderful guest. First, Lenny Randle. How you doing, world traveler?
I'm busy and blessed, and I got Dan, and he's not taking no mess.
Okay, Dan Epstein, a return to our airwaves, but first timer on Lenny Randle's Hot Corner, and actually you named Lenny Randle the most interesting man in baseball, or something.
I did indeed. That was when I profiled him for Rolling Stone a couple of years back. I just, looking at Lenny's resume and career, it's like, how many other baseball players become legendary not just in their homeland but in Italy, and how many other baseball players get to go into the studio and record records that become legendary funk classics, and just talking to Lenny, it just kind of occurred to me like this is the most interesting baseball player I've ever interviewed.
Right, he's become my fantasy camp. Through him, I get to live his exploits 2 or 3 times a week. I get to talk to him, and you're absolutely right. If anything, you understate it all. He's tricky.
Guys, I got a call right now from Dominican Republic. Should I take it or not?
No, hell no. You got Dan Epstein.
Okay.
You got
I'm gonna tell
priorities, Lenny. Come on.
For you. You got Epstein. Right out loud. That all comes with
the only
learning
reason
Yiddish. All comes with
the only
learning
reason why.
Yiddish.
The only reason why I did that because Dusty Baker is celebrating, and it was his call. Are you guys gone?
Well, you might bring. Let me rethink that for a second.
It's too late now. Now he's texting me. Why you put me on hold?
You win some, you lose some, and you win some, you lose some get rained out. That's just the way it goes. First you begin, then you close. Okay. Dan Epstein.
Let me share this with you about Dan, though. Dan is a very interesting guy because he's really a rock star undercover. He's really like Cosby, Stills, and Nash. He's a little of Sly and Family Stone. He's a little bit of Bon Jovi, Richard Pryor, and some Belushi. Okay?
Right.
So meeting a guy like that,
the Wilburys as being great. And
yeah, and the cross genre, Ralph, the cross genre that is the guy's also like, he's like Bill Melton, a third baseman with the Cubs back in the day, Don Kissinger. He's a modern day, you know how Mike Trout was, and everybody said he's like Mickey Mantle. Well,
right.
Dan covers both specs. He covers the 50s, the 60s, the 80s, and the millenniums.
Okay.
I've got a wide range.
Yes,
yeah. So he's
and you're into horror movies. Am I correct on that?
That is correct. I'm into horror movies, really all kinds of movies, westerns, old screwball comedies from the 30s, blaxploitation films. I'm just as into that as I am into music and baseball.
Well, then you both might be very, very interested in this. I think it was Al Blumpkin that mentioned this in the talk show. If you're interested in old movies, Groucho Marx movie, Horse Feathers.
I'm well aware of it.
You're well aware of it. Are you aware that it talks about amateur athleticism? And this is back in the 30s. And the context of what we're talking about is the newest of shoe scandals, of basketball scandals going on. And I wondered where it started, and my history of basketball scandals my knowledge goes back to the very, very early 50s with CCNY and all of that. But Mr. Blumpkin mentioned that, I think it was him, that great detail, they get into it in Horse Feathers about the hypocrisy of college athletics. Did you look at it, Lenny, when you were playing college ball as semi-pro ball?
Let me give you guys a really quick story because it's kind of funny. In college, I'm hanging out. I'm still in college now. I'm hanging out with Fergie Jenkins and Billy North and Bill Madlock, okay? And I'm with Vida, I'm with Tommy Lasorda, I'm with Rose Lopes and all those guys. And they got shoe deals. And I'm in college. I don't have a shoe deal. I just wear U.S. Kids, J.C. Penney. I'm wearing regular shoes, okay? So all of a sudden, Bill Madlock came in with Lenny. If I was you in college, I would wear one Nike and one Brooks. That way you can get $50,000 from Nike and $5,000 from Brooks. And I go, that would be a scandal. He goes, well, in college, they don't care what you wear. I said, in college, we're happy to have a pair of shoes.
That's right.
So that kind of started in college when, I don't know if you guys remember this, but do you remember Larry Walton and Danny Ainge and Danny White and all those guys? See, their dads were in the industry, so they kind of had a inside scoop, and we couldn't figure out why they got free shoes. Steve Garvey at Michigan, Elliot Maddox, they started getting shoes from college, and we thought it was a conspiracy because why do they get shoes and we don't? And then the kids from Illinois, SIU, they came out to Arizona State in all white shoes and all white uniforms, and they kicked their ass. Yeah, they scared us. And they brought cheerleaders. And we went, God, they got a shoe deal and they got cheerleaders. So we felt shortchanged in college. We should have signed a shoe contract. Bobby Winkles and Arizona State should have done. We would have won more, even though we did well. We just felt like shoes made a statement back then. It was a big deal, how you look, how you feel.
There's a Nike shoe store in downtown, not downtown exactly, but on a off street in Alameda, small town Alameda, California, carries nothing but Air Jordan shoes of all generations. And there's a line out in front when it opens in the morning. The shoes are a big-ass thing in this here society.
But here's the ironic thing, guys. I had the privilege of meeting Michael and going to the plant, and he's at a camp for our family out in California. And he goes, guys, I don't know why you kids got to quit. He's telling the campers, you got to quit doing it. The shoes only cost $3. He goes, no, they don't cost $3. It costs 3 cents. 3 cents a shoe. That's all it costs. We get them done in Taiwan and China. Don't kill yourself for my shoes, kids. He goes, I only get $5 a shoe. I want you all to know that. I only get $5 a shoe. They get the other $250. Okay.
Yeah, they're getting the most of the markup.
And he's saying it's not my fault.
when you say it like that, I only get $5 a shoe, but there are 5 million shoes sold.
Well, nobody's doing the math, Ralph. Only you and Dan would do the math. Those kids aren't doing the math. Come on.
Well,
yeah, they just want the damn shoes.
They want a pair of shoes, man. So,
but it does make a difference in their mindset. There's something to it. How it gets carried away is kids getting ripped off at school for their shoes. And
but you remember Pete Maravich and his sloppy shoes?
Sure.
It was the sloppy socks. It was
But you have to look at the shoes and look at the socks. Come on, you have to do. And then Walt Frazier shoes. And we went, dang, is the shoes making the guys shoot 30 points? Is it the shoes? And then Dr. J comes out. Is it the shoes, Dr. J? Is it the shoes?
Right.
It made a difference. Guys associated. Remember Joe Namath? He came out with he was the first quarterback to come out in white shoes. Okay, come on.
That's right.
Changed America. There was a cockiness to it.
Changed America, and it made it a good world for Ricky Henderson.
Yeah.
It paved the way.
Any world Ricky Henderson is a good world.
It's a good world.
Right. You got to admire somebody who talks in the third person consistently.
Yeah.
Gets up in the morning. Ricky's having a good day today.
No. He said Ricky Shoes gonna steal 2 bases there. Ricky Shoes.
Have I ever related the Dan Olerud story to either
John Olerud? Yeah.
John Olerud.
Yeah.
He's wearing his helmet in the field, and Ricky's on base, and Olerud. They had been teammates for like 2 or 3 years in Seattle, and good friends. Just good acquaintances. Let's put it that way. And Ricky says to Olerud, Ricky was teammates with the guy who wore his helmet like that in the field. That's me, John. He doesn't know who I am, Ricky.
Ricky was in the zone, guys. He was in the zone. It was way before the ESPN zone. Ricky was in the Ricky zone. And he was so concentrated. He wasn't friendly. He was concentrating 24/7 on how to be great, period. Steal 5 bases, get 5 hits, make 5 fans happy and 5 million happy, but I'm here for Ricky. And it wasn't a selfish thing. It was a winning thing.
Right.
Because he kind of like, you look at beast mode, that Oakland swagger, John Gruden got a little bit of it still, and Madden still got it in him as well. It's just something about Oakland, something about being there. It's contagious. Look at the Warriors. They got the swagger now. It's amazing. That Oakland City, look, you either play or you die.
Well, that comes with winning because under Don Nelson and the like, they spent like 15, 20 years not winning, and there wasn't that much of a swagger. There really isn't that much of a swagger in Oakland football this year, although they
had it last year. Last year was good. Okay. Last year was good.
They were screwed out of a possible playoff situation by a ridiculous play with the refs last weekend.
Dan says they need the guitar player Jim Plunkett and the gunslinger.
Yeah, I was a huge Plunkett fan when I was a kid.
Oh my!
I don't blame you. As you know, Dan, and maybe the listeners don't know, he was raised under very, very unusual circumstances. If I recall correctly, both of his parents were deaf.
That's correct. Yeah.
And he goes on. For whatever lack of whatever, as a result of that, goes on to get into Stanford. And I don't know how it is with Stanford today. I know there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with the judge who made some call that was outrageous about a kid that allegedly was convicted of raping a woman. But in those days especially, you had to be a brainiac to get into Stanford. And combining that with his athletic ability and the idea that this guy came up a winner in his career, time and time again.
Let me give you a little history. One thing that motivated Jim was Jim Thorpe. Jim Thorpe, part Indian, 4-sport athlete, great person, human being for the Indian reservation and all the Indians across America. Jim Plunkett was Indian descent. A lot of people don't know that. They thought he was Spanish, Hispanic, or Spain, or whatever. He's Indian descent. That drive in the Indian reservation is in his system, in his blood. To this day, it's still there. And there's a couple of guys, Gene Locklear, who played with the San Diego Padres, who was a painter, artist, painting about his culture and his citizens and his heritage. And, a lot of people don't realize when you've been beaten, ripped, taken land and sold a country for a nickel and all that animosity, and you sitting you out on the reservation and you're stripped of your family and your integrity and your pride. The kids don't forget that. They're driven. Yeah. I'm never going back to that again. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. I don't care about reparations. I'm going to make it in America in some capacity, either law, real estate, a casino, or a quarterback. And that's what happened. He was driven.
Yeah.
The guy was driven.
Well,
yeah, I hear he's not doing so well these days, unfortunately.
Oh,
well, how have you heard? What have you heard, Dan? Go ahead.
Well, that he's having feeling a lot of after effects on his body, and from his injuries, but also that he's starting to deal with early Alzheimer's. I believe it's early Alzheimer's as a result of all the hits to the head.
I heard it was Jim Seau. The same thing that's wrong with Seau.
Yeah,
he's going through it before Seau committed suicide. I heard that. They've had a lot of. He got hit a lot. I mean, he got ripped. I mean, beaten. Just in that era, you hit a quarterback as many times as you want when you tackle him.
Right.
Yeah,
and you can tackle him any way you want.
Ali is an example. They use the expression with Ali, Parkinson's syndrome. Now,
Parkinson's disease.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you can't tell me that his boxing career didn't play a direct result, isn't a direct result of what he went through later in life.
Guys, let me share this with you. I was talking with Fernando. He's a UFC MMA fighter, and that's going to be our next generation of big fights, in case you guys don't know that. Forget Pacquiao, Merriweather. Those guys take a beating. I mean, they train with the headgear, some with no headgear. All their ears are swollen. I mean, just swollen. Like, their ear is the size of your regular head.
Right.
You hear me, Ralph? Yeah. Dude, I'll send you pictures. And they're going to be the next ones to have the Alzheimer's and brain damage like boxers. And watch, Oscar De La Hoya is going to flip out next. Watch, too. Watch. Just watch.
Yeah.
You're getting hit in the head too much. You can't take it. You're juggling the brain.
No, and frankly, I mean, this has kind of made me lose interest in football, because it's just like, learning about what kind of damage these guys do to each other and themselves. And, as to Ralph's point earlier about the exploitation in college athletics, I mean, just, all of these guys just putting their bodies and their brains on the line, in college, and, most of them are not even going to make it to the pros. And
they should get paid now. College should get paid now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's unconscionable. I think the college programs are making so much money off these kids, and the kids are, all they're getting out of it is a possible shot at the big time and a whole lot of physical wear and tear.
Guys, I went to all of UNLV Southwest games, Mountain West games, and Pac-10 games during from 2009 until Bradley came out. And I'm doing pizza parties just to keep kids healthy. I'm doing 4 and 5 kids living in his condo just to give them some food and some water and a place to stay. Because at the end of the game, they have no money, and they're hungry. They get a chicken dinner, at K9's or Big Mac, Happy Meal. And these are 260, 40-pound guys, and they can't live off a Happy Meal. Come on.
No.
And it's sad, Ralph. And a lot of people don't know that behind the scenes. Yeah, they get to swipe a card at lunch. You eat a plate or two at lunch and dinner. But after the game, and you got no money, and Beyonce wants you to take her out to dinner, and you can't even get her a Big Mac. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not right.
It's embarrassing. It really is.
And then if a kid does accept money, he becomes persona non grata by the college. He can't play. Can't turn pro.
Well, you guys seen the story. The guys, I don't care if you're quarterback, running back, and you get busted taking a sandwich from Burger King, or you walk in the supermarket, you get a head of lettuce, and they're telling you took a lobster and a steak because you're hungry, because the coach didn't give you the money that week, and you got to eat because you got to go to practice, because you got to get up for the study hall at 7 a.m. It's a trickling effect on why they go borrow food from the grocery store because they have no food at the apartment. It's sad.
And then they walk in the mall and they see a store selling their jersey.
Their jersey, yeah. And then they'll go, hey, why don't you just buy my jersey after the game?
Right. I'll sell it to you directly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's sad.
Exactly.
Oh, my God. It's got to stop some kind of way. Guys, maybe we should be the new committee to make sure they get at least $1,500 a month to buy groceries. You know, it's not a lot of money. You know, $1,500 to buy groceries and have a date. You know, finish your homework.
Yeah, I mean, can't these universities, couldn't they afford to give these guys like a food stipend?
Yeah, they make $2 million a game, brother.
Yeah,
$2 million a game. Go figure.
There's no reason you couldn't give everybody on the team like, even $500 a month to supplement their
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I'd like to know is how they can justify paying a coach under these circumstances where the player is struggling for food to eat, for nutrition, how they can justify paying a coach upwards of $1 million a year.
My coach, Frank Kush, I had Frank Kush, guys, greatest coach ever on the planet. And he used to go, guys, if you're starving and you're hungry, come see me because I can get you a job or I'll make you play at the, we had the basketball games. So we would be ushers to help people get in their seats. I mean, it wasn't like he was just giving us a check. We actually worked for it. I mean, and that stipend, $5,000 or $10,000 a month was good money. You need a car? Okay, I'll have you go to the dealership, sell a couple of cars, and then you'll get a car.
Right.
It was all legit, And it was like, they're not creatively financing these kids anymore. And there's jobs out there for them to do. I don't know what college you guys went to, but didn't you remember the football and the ushers and the cheerleaders working the booth and the parking, the concession, and selling peanuts and popcorn and they did something.
Well, it wasn't at my college, Lenny. We didn't even have a football team where I went.
Oh, sorry.
But I'll tell you the story of how I heard Lou Alcindor at the time was going to UCLA, and he got, he couldn't just take money from the alum. He had to have a job, right?
Yeah.
So they gave him a job of being in charge of the sprinklers. They come on in the morning, they go off at night, and all you have to do is ... They were automatic sprinklers. They'd come on in the morning, they'd go off at night. He wouldn't have to do a thing, but they listed that as his job. So yes, creative ways of getting some bucks into the kids' hands. And that's got to, how do gamblers get to somebody? Through a weakness. And if you're starving, you don't have enough money, maybe you're taking your old-fashioned hardship case and you're legitimately taking care of your family and you're going to school on the investment that you'll get into the pros, and 99 out of 100 don't get into the pros. So from that standpoint, just to keep the game legit, it would be a good idea to make sure these kids aren't desperate and susceptible to some guy coming along and say, well, I'll give you a steak dinner and $500, but it's the last game in the NCAA finals, and all you got to do is figuratively not show up.
Well, I like the way Tyler Perry does it. Come in, play basketball, you stay a year, go to the NBA, have a good life. You're 18, 19, 20-year-old. I know you're hungry. Feed your family. Everybody's going to hate me in the NCAA, but I'm going to train you, develop you, give you food, have you get a car and a house, and they're going to piss. And we're going to win. You know what I'm saying?
Really, you win without that team developing, playing as freshmen.
Well,
you tell me how
some guys do. Some guys do and some guys don't. It's been the maturity aspect of it. If you're mature enough to do it, you can do it. Like if you come out with a body like Shaq and you're like Kobe and like Larry Bird and you're coming out at 18, 19 years old and you go, well, I'm mature enough, I'm good enough, I will develop as I go. Not that many guys can do that, though.
Right.
So you got to read. If you need 2 years in the college, take the 2 years, get your degree later, put it in the contract, come out on top. I mean, the Lakers are doing that right now with Ball. I mean, he had 1 year in.
Right.
He didn't look bad last night. And neither did that kid that scored 38 last night. Some kids are mature enough to look. I've been playing against these guys since I was 12. They're just a little bigger, a little faster. I'll develop in 2 years because I'm going to eat better. I got food on the table now.
Right.
I would like to see the statistics of how people develop along those lines, and what percentage of guys that go to Duke and spend 5 years literally playing for Duke and then come into Ball or whatever. I'd just like to see some sort of a study made on the advantages and disadvantages of coming out early. And
well, between you, Dan, Ralph, and God, and the Pope, at Duke, you're a hostage, and then you come out.
Yeah.
They have a way to keep you.
You didn't hear that from me, but I got a couple of CIA guys that go, look, you go to Duke, this is what's going to happen. You're going to be 4 or 5 years. Ask Grant Hill. You got no choice. You're a hostage. Okay.
Oh, poor Grant Hill with that ankle. Did he ever break that
look
ankle?
at Leitner. Hey, Leitner was a great player, am I right? In college, am I right?
In college, yeah.
In college. And what happened to him mentally in the pro ball? You guys try to guess. What do you think happened in pro ball?
They conceived him as being the white slow guy.
How about burnout?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about some guys burn out? I mean, listen, when you leave from playing, think about it now. In Arizona State, we had a 60-game baseball schedule. We have a 15 to 16-game football schedule. We practice 365 days a year. We're up at 6 a.m. It used to be double days, and then we have to run Cush's Mountain. If you didn't run Cush's Mountain, you didn't graduate, you lose your scholarship, you lose your life. You couldn't exist. I'm just
right.
And then you put all that together, and you go, well, I'm doing this to try to get my degree first, and secondly, I'm trying to go pro. Degree first, pro second. So you got to have one or the other. And then you get a bunch of knuckleheads that are in the team and go, no, I'm just here to get out of Pennsylvania.
Right. You get the sunshine.
And then you got a couple of guys. I'm from Harlem, and I'm from Watts, or I'm from different areas.
Guys beating the draft back in your day.
Yeah.
Seriously, in there because
we had a draft. Yeah, well, we had 2 drafts. We had the Vietnam draft, or we had the NBA, NFL draft, and MLB draft. I was in the MLB draft and the Vietnam draft.
Right.
So Lenny, did
you have a number, Lenny,
your number
or
come
anything?
up?
You didn't have to register.
Listen, guys.
You were going.
To this day, I remember I was number 68. I'm still number 68. I never leave my mind. Because they didn't even take that. And I was the last number that they didn't take. And I'm like, look, can you imagine being in class and going, at any day, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were all on edge. Anybody that was 68 and under was on edge. And they stopped it. I personally knew Richard Nixon. From Whittier. Okay. And Ronald.
Right.
And I used to go to Whittier, Randle College, and go, hey, Ron, hey, homie, can you stop the draft at maybe at 65?
Don't make me sweat it out anymore. And actually, for the rest of us, could you stop the draft at maybe 0?
Well, we didn't really want the war because we didn't really know. I'm in ROTC, Reserve Officers Training Corps. We either do that, reserve officer, you're getting ready for the war, so you're in college getting ready for the war. I'm in college now, 6 a.m., 4 a.m. You guys don't even know about that side of the football. That had nothing to do with football. This is Reserve Officers Training Corps. At 4 o'clock in the morning, we're going to the left, make a right, like a left, yes, sir, no, sir. Okay. And then at 7 and 8, we're with football. We're running a hill and a mountain. Yes, sir, coach. No, sir, for you. And then at 12, we're tired.
Yeah.
And you got to slam dunk a sandwich. And then you got to go to practice.
Right.
So, it's a tremendous sacrifice. Yeah, a war, you go to war, or you play football.
So late yeah.
It's the same thing going on. Yeah. Go ahead.
It does become more intense in the pros, am I correct?
Brother, you don't even know what I'm saying. It was intense in college. Corporal Patton would have done more than you've been frickin' Gruden or Lombardi. We had Lombardi in the military while we were in college. Come on. You don't miss my point here. If you got to go to General Patton at 4 a.m.
Does it become more intense once you're a pro?
When you're playing pro, it's a piece of cake. That other stuff was hard.
All right.
Yeah. Playing pro ball, look, dude, you sleep till noon. Pro ball, come on.
Yeah.
You have 3-course meals pro ball. You got more money. Your meal money is $500 a day. Give me a break already. Come on.
But I'm talking about when you first become a pro, minor league. It can't be that.
Listen, minor league ball is okay. There's nothing wrong with minor league ball compared to going to the military, okay? Give me a break here.
That's
yeah.
That's it. They don't
okay, going to minor league ball and playing and dodging bullets is, hey, give me a break. Come on. What do you want to do? Dodge bullets or go play in AAA in Spokane or Rochester?
Right.
Okay. All right. What do you want to do? You want to go play a double hitter in Peoria, or you want to play a AAA game in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, on the beach in Miami, or do you want to dodge a bullet on the beach in Vietnam? I mean, come on.
Here's a question I always wanted to ask Dan Epstein when he'd come on the show, and now that you're here, how did you and Lenny first meet? Take me back.
It was in prison. I might as well tell it right now.
Yeah, it was a women's prison filming a documentary.
No. I had a high AAA bail on him, and then we played a song, and they said, "Okay, you guys can sing. We'll let you out."
All right.
Well, actually, Ralph, it was a pretty mundane story. I just kind of tracked him down on Facebook, and we'd been Facebook friends for a little bit, and I sent him an email saying, "Hey, man, I'd like to interview you about your life and career," and he did a little checking to make sure I was legit. And then once he realized, I wasn't just some other guy talking out of his head, he hit me back, and we became friends.
Well, let me tell you the other story, too. I'm over in Italy, right? And he calls me, and he goes, "Look," I said, "I got a meeting. I'm flying back to do a meeting at Dodger Stadium. I'd like to invite you to meet some of the players in the clubhouse, in the suite." And he goes, "Are you shitting me?" I go, "No, I'm serious. I'll come and pick you up. I'll drive you. I'll get a limo." This is before Uber. This is human being talking to human being. And he goes, "You'll really do that?" I said, "Yeah, I'll pick you up. I don't care if you live in Beverly Hills, Hollywood, or Skid Row. I'll come and get you." So he goes, "This guy's unbelievable." So I picked you. I had my wife with me. I said, "You're going to be, me and Linda are going to come get you. And you're going to hang out. And you're going to lose track of time. And you ain't going to watch the game because Don Buford's going to be there." I mean, everybody, right? I mean, it was a buffet of players, right, Dan?
Yeah, it was a blast. And you're right. I have absolutely no memory of what happened during the game. But I totally remember, hanging with Don Buford and picking his brain and just so many
about the
stories
69 World Series against the Mets.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was picking his brain about his early days as a college ball player. I think wasn't he the first black guy to play baseball for USC?
Yeah, he was my mentor.
Yeah.
See, Ralph, you don't understand. Don Buford's like 5 feet, okay, and he was a defensive back with the Trojans, USC, and Dato was the head baseball coach, and Dato was a coach for $1 a year, and he goes, "Look, son, you could play baseball or you could play football, but you got to make a pick because right now I'm kicking everybody's butt in football, so I got that made." He goes, well, what can you do in baseball? He goes, well, I'm a switch hitter. I hit both left and right. And he goes, well, let me see what you could do. So he hit 4 home runs in a practice game. And I was on the left side. And there was a parking lot and there are cars there. And he's 5 feet, okay? And the guy goes, well, where do you get your power? He goes, well, I'm a football player. You know, I'm a football player playing baseball. So he goes, wait till you see me on the right side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they go, well, it's a...
Was Lasorda's mentor, if I'm not correct.
Exactly. And they thought he was going to be a Dodger. That was the intention. He wanted to be a Dodger. But then the White Sox snuck in there and go, the White Sox, Minnie Minoso likes you, Don. They want you to be a White Sox. And he goes, who are the White Sox? He goes, Nellie Fox, Aparicio, start naming guys. And he became a White Sox and got traded to the Orioles. Yeah, I'm sorry. But he was a great player. So anyway, Dan's with all these guys. He's with a couple of Seattle Mariners. I got to pick Jim Merritt, 20-game winner with Texas Rangers. Yeah. It's a photo by and all of a sudden we're taking pictures of Jackie Robinson's shadow and Duke Snyder's shadow and the uniforms and bats and balls. This is after 4 or 5 hangovers, okay? And to this day, I'm asking, who won the game, Dan? And who did they play?
that was the last game I saw at Dodger Stadium because it was right before I moved from LA to Chicago, and it's like I could not imagine a better way to better note to go out on than that. But yeah, no, I believe that like me and your wife watched about an inning of the game.
1 inning.
Yeah, but that was it.
Do you remember who even played against the Dodgers that day?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, that's a total blank then. That means you really had a good time.
Oh, yeah, exactly. When you can't remember it, you know it was fun.
It was awesome.
All right.
It was totally awesome. I'm going to send you those pictures, Ralph. I have them.
All right, gentlemen. Great
Thank
show.
You. God bless.
Lenny and I have been talking about getting you on this show for a long time, Dan. So he's appreciative of the nickname. The nickname has carried him where he's gotten all the way to the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. So you got to shake your head a little bit. It's really a pleasure having you each time we talk. And Lenny, you know my feelings, my friend.
Hey, I want everybody to reach out to Dan, have him do some stories for you. His feeds are great. He's a great writer. For those of you who would like to call Dan or friend him on Facebook, I don't care if it's rock and jock, baseball and boogie, sports and entertainment. He's the man, folks. Check him out. Check out his site.
Right on.
A man who can get into writing for Rolling Stone magazine. Think about that.
One day, Ralph, one day we're going to buy it. Me and Dan are going to buy it.
Buy the magazine.
Somebody just
yeah, we're going to buy it. We're going to buy it before Mick Jagger retires.
That's right.
Well,
I'm saving up my
your aspirations towards that. But I just want to tell you, you have plenty of time. He will never retire.
He'll never. Neither will Keith Richards, right?
Yeah, he's not retiring either.
Oh my God.
Neither will Lenny Randle.
No, hey, we're gonna rock and roll to the Big League Hall of Fame with Jesus and the Pope and a couple other guys, DiMaggio and I got a list of guys I want to see again. Yogi, Billy Martin. Yeah, so we'll rock and roll all the way, guys.
Billy Martin would be right up there on top, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, Dan, if Billy Martin makes the lineup, you're leading off and playing guitar, okay?
All right, fair enough.
And I'll be announcing, now batting for the Yankees, number 1, Billy Martin, number 1.
Well done.
That's the best I can do for an old man in a small town.
Let me ask you, if Dan had a number and you had a number, Ralph, if you and Dan had a number, what number would you guys pick if you were players?
Oh, me, I'd be number 55. I couldn't be 5 because it would be a sin against DiMaggio, but I'd go for 55.
Well,
and how about you?
Two times I've been to Cubs fantasy camp. I ordered the number 8 because of I'm a big Joe Pepitone fan.
Oh, Joe Pepitone, yeah, I like Joe.
Yeah, that's what he wore on the Cubs.
But he was 25 on the Yankees, amazingly enough.
Right.
Yep. There you go.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Well, if I had Joe Pepitone's wigs, I would be Joe Pepitone's clone.
He told me he used to have an afro wig too.
I had an afro wig, but I loved it. He had like 4 different toupees, man. He knew somebody. I didn't know those kind of people. I used to borrow the Jackson 5.
Halloween wig.
No, I would borrow the Jackson 5 wigs. Tito and Michael and Jermaine.
Are you going to tell me that wasn't their natural, that they were wigs?
Bro, should I throw them under the bus? Should I throw them under the bus, or should I let it ride?
All right, we'll check.
I know Billy Preston.
Come on, should I throw Angela Davis under the bus, or should I let it ride? Come on.
Oh no, Angela Davis didn't wear an
over.
wig. Let that one ride because that one. Ciao. Adios, guys.
Bye.
Shalom, Lenny. Shalom, Dan. Be well, everybody out there. If you enjoy our offerings anywhere along the lines, please box up some lightly used children's books. Take them to the Head Start program wherever you are. Kids are our future. Get them reading. Get them off to a good start in school. And there you go. Adios, everybody. See you guys soon.